Jayson Tatum should be the face of the NBA. He's clearly one of the most skilled players in the league. He's won his championship and he has a lot of other accomplishments. He's a part of an amazing organization. I don't see why Jayson Tatum can't be the face of the NBA. He's one of the most consistent players. He has value to his team. He gets the numbers. At this point, he's a superstar, and I don't think the NBA media, at least, is ready to admit it. Overall Star Weekend, there was a lot of discussion about Anthony Edwards being the face of the league and who's going to be the face of the NBA when all the older guys retire. The conversation really amplified even more with the documentary Court of Gold coming out. By the way, if you haven't watched that on Netflix, absolutely amazing. After I watched the Court of Gold, it made me think, why isn't Tatum in these conversations? What's keeping him off the court in the Olympics? And then what's keeping him out of these, face of the league MVP discussions? What is going on here? I got a few reasons as to why. But before I get started, let me know what you think down in the comments below. So let me just start off with this season specifically, because I know the question is always, what have you done for me lately? Well, I think Tatum is in the top five, top three player discussion. He's averaging 27, 9, and 5. And I want to give him credit too for playing most of the games. Like, I think he's played all the games this season, but like Tatum is one of the few superstars we have that's going to show up every single night. This guy isn't just, oh, I'm resting this day or I'm sitting over here this day. Like, he's going to go out there and play. I respect that. And I know you might say, okay, well, what about winning? The Celtics are second in the Eastern Conference right now. And the game that the Celtics played right before the All-Star break, he was cooking the Knicks. I mean, went to work. Like, and that, I think it was the third quarter. He scored like 15, 16 straight by himself. Was just cooking. They tried to switch and we're going to do that. It didn't work. None of it worked. He was going crazy, frying up the entire team. And that's supposed to be one of their rivals within the conference that they're going to battle with to get to the finals. If the Knicks are the third seed, right, and Tatum and the Celtics go out there and smoke them like that, the real only competition for him in this conference is the Cavs. That's it. And I'd also argue that Tatum is one of the best two-way players in the league. He's not the guy that just lazily plays defense. I scored 30, so I'm good now. No, he's going to go out there and put an effort on the defensive end as well. Switching, guarding everybody. Like, he does he puts in that effort. So why is he being overlooked in the MVP race? Well, I think first, it might be because his team is a really good team. The Celtics have done an amazing job at building an actual team, a roster. I don't think that their depth is all that crazy, but they have a solid team. Him having Jaylen Brown and Holiday right there, that already alone is a lot because those two guys want to play defense. And today is so hard to have other guys on the court with you that want to play defense. It's so much easier as a hooper. If you're a real hooper, you know what I'm talking about. It's easier to play defense when the people with you are playing defense, Because if you're the only one that's defending hard and they being lazy on your help side or on the back side, it's impossible at this point. So he does have a solid team around him. That's true. I think he also isn't as vocal about the MVP as he should be. Like if Embiid whining and crying got him his MVP, I wouldn't be mad if Tatum did the same thing. Like at this point, if that's the route we gonna take, let's just go all the way with it. Because since Embiid won his MVP in 2023, bro doesn't play. He was barely playing before, it was really on and off, but now he really doesn't play. And yeah, you can cry about the injuries and all that stuff, whatever. But he doesn't play, bottom line. I don't know if Tatum has recognized that the MVP in the NBA is a narrative-driven award more than anything else. I learned that back when Steve Nash won over Kobe in '08. Like, Nash shouldn't have won two MVPs. There's no way that Kobe only has one and Steve Nash has two. I'm never getting over that. Don't argue me in the comments. Don't. And I'm telling you this now. Luka isn't in an MVP conversation this year. Next year, now that he's a Laker fan, the narrative is going to be crazy. Like the storylines that'll be pushed for Luka to get his first MVP as a Laker next year, Tatum won't stand a chance. So he better get his now. But what do you think? Do you think Tatum is an MVP this year? Do you think he deserves it over Shea or Jokic again? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now, why isn't Tatum considered the face of the NBA? Now, why isn't Tatum considered the face of the NBA? One reason I think is a lack of media hype. It's like if Tatum goes out there and scores 40, it's not going to get talked about as much as something that another player does. It could be lesser value, and they would still talk about it more than Tatum's 40. It's almost like when he does perform and he shows up and he has those crazy games, it's not talked about. Like when he went crazy and smoked the Knicks a couple weeks ago, nobody really talked about it. It was like, yeah, the Celtics won, yay. It's like all of his personal accomplishments are now only his team's accomplishments. But for other players, their personal accomplishments are their personal accomplishments. And I don't know, it's just a weird way to, people operate around that. Another thing could be that he doesn't have the same pull when it comes to social. Like it's a joke that you see on Twitter about like when the Celtics posted their championship winning post on just their Twitter account, it had way less views than Luka being introduced to Laker fans. And like that does play a part in it. I think the social aspect does play a part in our lives more than we even want to admit. And that kind of goes into the main point here, is which is like the lack of aura. I hate saying that, but you know exactly what I mean when I say that. Like Tatum is, I compare him to Jalen Hurts, right? The guys that just want to do their job and go home. They're really calm. They're not in trouble off the court. They're just chilling. Like I'm gonna do my job, be good at it, and I'm going home. That's it. Tatum is gonna go and score 30, do his commercials, and go home. That's it. And I think as much as that's structured and it's kind of the perfect athlete, like we as Americans don't like that. We want the guy that's gonna go crazy and be all over the place and doing crazy stuff in the news or in the headlines. And he's the opposite. He's like, I'm just going home. I'm just gonna relax. Not even on some like I'm gonna go read my Bible. No, he's not even on that. He's just like, I'm going home. So I think part of the problem is that Tatum doesn't show enough of his personal personality. Like after the scream he did after they won the championship, it was so closely tied to KD. Some of the mannerisms and how he even plays is taking a lot from Kobe. I think that that plays into the disdain for him as well. It's like we don't see who you personally are as Jayson Tatum. We see you as parts of Kevin Durant and parts of Kobe Bryant and parts of this guy and this guy. And it's like, who are you personally? And I think to be the face of the NBA, you got to be marketable, right? To be marketable, you have to have that personality that stands out, something that you are known for. Even little small things, I think we all can do to stand out, and personality wise. Tatum doesn't really do that. Like, look at Shea and his fashion. He started with the fashion thing and just went all the way with it. And it really changed the way people look at him. He's not just a guy that goes out there and scores and wins on OKC. He's also the fashion guy. Like, as much as we hate the personal branding thing, I do think Jayson Tatum could benefit from having a personal brand strategist. Like, let's be for real. So here's my question for you here. Would Tatum winning a second championship in a row overcome all of this? Like, let's say the Celtics go back to back. Would that be enough to get him above everybody else? Will he then be past everybody else in terms of the face of the league discussion? Or does he have to win league MVP and have to win a third? Like a three-peat would be crazy. But like, what does he have to do to get in that conversation? Let me know in the comments below. So as my couch take of the day, I think Jayson Tatum would be in the MVP and face of the league discussions if he wasn't a Celtic. See, something that a lot of other fans of other organizations don't know is when you're a fan of winning teams, other teams don't like your team, your coaches, players, any of that. If there's one thing that Celtics fans and Lakers fans can agree on, it's that our players, our organizations receive a lot of unwarranted hate and despise at times. Well, some of it you could say makes sense because you win, but it automatically flips once the narrative changes. So, for example, when Anthony Davis got traded to the Mavs, you see Charles Barkley saying that the Mavs are going to be way better and they can go and win the finals now and they're going to be amazing in the short term. But he was just calling Anthony Davis street clothes 2 weeks ago. That's what I mean by the narrative switch up. So if Jayson Tatum wasn't a Celtic and he played for any team other than, I would say, the Lakers or maybe the Warriors, he would easily be in the MVP discussion and face of the league. Like if Jayson Tatum went from Boston to Chicago, he's immediately in that discussion. Now he would have to deal with comparisons to Jordan every day, but he would immediately be in a discussion. He'd be exalted instantly. It wouldn't be all of these steps like you got to win MVP, you got to win 5 championships. It wouldn't be any of that. The requirements are just a lot different when you play for teams that people love to hate. Now, I know you might think your team is a team that people love to hate, but unless you're a fan of the Celtics, Lakers, Warriors, it's not really a discussion right now. I'm going to be honest with you. In all, I don't think Tatum will win MVP this year. I just don't think it's in the cards for him. Shea and Jokic have that wrapped up. It's probably going to be Shea because he hasn't won one yet. Jokic already has three. It's probably not going to happen for Tatum this season. But I do think the Celtics have a good chance of winning another championship. If he gets another championship, he'll be in that conversation immediately. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm Chris. I'll see you next time.